Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel with another fun video featuring my 486 machine with the CPU from my very first PC. I've done a video on this one before, so go and check that out, but today I just wanted to address a few things that have been bothering me with the build. So yeah, today we're going to tackle those things and address them, and it should be a lot of fun, so let's stick around and get going. So the goal for today's video is pretty much going to be swapping out this motherboard. There's nothing wrong with it, but as I said, it's a bit newer than what I'd like for such a build. And there's a few things I want to sort of address as well while I'm fixing this machine up. One of them being the sound card. You may notice the ground wire has come loose from my speaker. More on that later. But yeah, we'll start by removing all the cards. Here's the 10100 megabit, sorry, just 10 megabit Ethernet card and a random Cirrus Logic PCI video card. The case itself is actually pretty easy to work on. It's not too hard to get around in there with my nuggety hands, but yeah, it's all kind of crammed at the top where all the cables are, is where the main pressure point is with the 5¼ inch drive bays. Rather annoying. But yeah, front I/O coming off, and LEDs and switches and stuff like that. And the case has a handy motherboard tray that kind of tilts out, revealing a very annoying ground strap for the AT power supply switch. Yeah, makes it a bit annoying to get off. Original motherboard on the right, the new one on the left. The one on the right is a Lucky Star LS486E revision C, and it has a chipset of SIS85C496. You can see the size difference here. Both are baby AT, but yeah, one's not like the other. The motherboard that will be fitting today is an A-Trend Opti 895 1442G version 1.2. Has an Opti chipset of 82C895, supports frontside bus speeds of 25, 30, 350 MHz. I've fitted 256K of level 2 cache here, and I've already pre-fitted some memory modules, 16 megabytes of FPM RAM. I'm having a hard time finding FPM RAM, but anyway, yeah, original CPU just fits right in, no problem. And yeah, I really wanted to try out some video card options, so I picked up some VESA local bus stuff. I haven't really had much of a chance to check some of these out, but yeah, I really was keen to see what sort of performance gains you get from using something like this. Here's the chipset that this one is using, and it's got 2 megabytes of memory fitted on board, so pretty excited to see what it's all about, and I thought it'd be very fitting, complete with the struggles of getting them fitted, to see what it's like. Going to test out my jumper skill sets to see if I've got it all sorted, and we'll do a bench test. It's good. Posts. Ignore the black and white screen, my display cable is a bit tired. Everyone's favourite part is fitting the motherboard using crappy standoffs. These ones are the horrible plastic ones that fall out, never seem to go into place very well. And unfortunately, the size of the motherboard mixed with this backplate means it's held in with physically only one screw, and the rest is relying on the cards being fitted to the case for the motherboard to hold its structure. Great. Now that's all hooked in, we'll go and put the ground strap on for the AT power supply connector. Very annoying, the motherboard tray wants to flop around. You have to kind of do this awkward dance of getting the screw through the eyelet and then trying to thread it in with your weedy fingers sort of thing, and it's, yeah, great fun. I wouldn't have it any other way. At this point in the game, it's pretty much just putting a bunch of screws into the case and fitting the cards and doing all the cable management, all of that fun stuff, and hoping that everything still works when you put it back together. Hint, it did not work out very well, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, I'll just carry on putting the machine back together, blissfully unaware of the future problems that exist. I thought it might be a good idea while I was here to remove some of these extra connectors that don't have headers anymore to be used. The original motherboard I had in there had quite a lot of onboard stuff to plug all this stuff in. But yeah, I'm using one of these handy cheap screwdrivers. It comes with a bunch of, can't remember what size these are, but yeah, makes it really handy for removing the nuts. Normally I'd just use a pair of pin nose pliers, but yeah. Anyway, first component going in is the I/O controller, multi-I/O controller. I thought I'd try and use one of these COM ports. Headers as well, but I think the pinout might be slightly different. I've had issues with these before, but it's definitely in pin 1, but couldn't get a mouse to register using the external header. So I ended up removing it in the end, but yeah. Floppy disk, ribbon cable as well going on there, and the hard drive. I'm kind of doing all of this now because once the card's fitted in place, it's really hard to kind of move it around and line everything up. So this way, you know, you just fit all the ribbon cables and the mess, and then you just shove it into the case. Next up is the Longboy VESA local bus video card, and you can see it kind of moving the motherboard around as I'm fitting it. Great design, not much I can do about it, but I'm hoping when I add the other cards it will have some structure to it. Speaking of other cards, I'm going to add this generic Genius 10 megabit Ethernet card. I couldn't find any information about this online, this particular card. It is any 2000 or whatever it's called, generic networking protocol compatible, NDS 2000, I forget, someone will remind me, but yeah, I really wanted to get some networking going in Windows 3.11. I was going to fit the sound card, but one of the wires has come off my speaker header, so I'll have to fix that up later. Being supervised, of course, by this cat, Mr. Boots, our neighbour's cat, sitting on all my cables, and we're going to do a post test, which unfortunately didn't work out very well. The machine would not post no matter what I did to it. I removed all the drives, all the cards, and I think it's something to do with the power supply, because when I hit the reset button, it posts only after the machine has been powered up, so it's a very strange issue. I'm going to check all the voltages here, of course. I thought one of the voltage rails might be low or not right, but the 5-volt rail on power up, where the heaviest load is going, is within tolerance. You know, when you power up the machine and everything's spinning up, it's going to be the most load, as opposed to when it levels out when it's running. 12-volt rail, a little bit high, higher than what I would like. I have this feeling this power supply voltage regulation isn't too good. But I mean, yeah, I don't think that's going to have any effect on anything like that. But yeah, I thought what I'd do is try out the postcard, and it's got this Idry Light, I think that's what it says there. IRDY, sorry. I don't know what that light does, but I noticed when you initially power on the machine like I'm doing now, so this is from cold, that light stays on, and I think it's supposed to clear once the BIOS has started to execute some code. So the BIOS here is not executing code, and I tried multiple CPUs and everything like that, and it wasn't until I tried a different power supply that the machine would power on reliably every time. So I think I got a dodgy power supply. So yeah, I'll show you guys that here. I've got my generic external power supply with a AT harness adapter on it, and what we're going to do is just power up the machine and just check, rule out another component issue. Straight away, every time it posts, so I believe this power supply is slightly dodgy. Unfortunately, I don't have another power supply suitable for this machine, so I'm going to just have to work around it until I can get some parts to fix it. So in the meantime, what I'm going to do is fix up the header on the sound card. And the way I'm going to do that is clear out the vias, which you can see here. That desoldering pump works a treat, single-handedly the best investment that I've made yet on the channel. Oh my god, I can't believe I didn't do it sooner. And I've just robbed another header off a dead motherboard, which will solder in place. But yeah, I don't have any tools to measure ripple or anything like that on the voltage rails on that power supply, so I'm assuming some of the capacitors maybe are a bit lazy or creating too much ripple. But the old motherboard works fine, but it is slightly newer, so yeah, not too sure if anyone's got any ideas on that one. But yeah, nevertheless, we'll carry on, get the machine back together, because currently as I'm talking, the machine's been put back together for about a day now and it's still working fine. So maybe, I don't know, maybe that power supply is just a bit weak, but yeah. Anyway, for the last card, I've got a few headers and things to fit back to it, like the CD-ROM connector and the PC speaker. I had to use a little joiner because the cables annoyingly are just a little too short, so yeah, not much I can do there, but we'll work around it. And while I'm in here, we'll do some extra cable management to try and make it look a bit nicer. Well, I think that looks a lot better, ignoring the hard drive that's a bit lopsided there. It doesn't fit if you put it upright. Those Bigfoot drives are terrible for that, to be honest. At this point, I really wanted to try out some networking options in Windows 3.11 just to be able to transfer games and software and stuff without having to rely on floppy disks. I don't have the compact flash setup in this machine because I really like having the hard drive. It's slow, it's noisy, but it really suits this machine, so I'm going to use it while I've got it before the drive dies. But in the meantime, yeah, we'll get some networking set up. I wanted two options, SMB sharing and FTP, so I really wanted to have those two options really just to be able to transfer files. It's a little slow because it's 10 megabit, but it does the job because most software is going to be in the megabyte range, 10 meg there, 3 meg there, so we'll just put in all the IP settings to make this all this hoopty crap work. Windows 3X networking, yeah, I did do the updated TCP protocol stack driver update, or whatever you want to call it, so I guess that helps a little bit. We'll open up the command prompt here as well, and we'll check and make sure that we can get things like an IP address that we can ping, and we'll check all of that out. Off camera, that took quite a few goes to get set up and working. I pretty much had to set the configuration to jumperless and then did an auto detect as the way I got around it. I still don't understand a lot of how that works, but anyway, that all works. And the oldnet.com, great resource. Shout out to the guys there that made all of this, because there's this new, I don't think it's that new, but it's new to me, proxy settings that you can add to help redirect browsers to use older versions of websites, and sort of help cut down all the guff that goes into modern websites as well. So yeah, just put in some proxy settings and you're away, ready to go. You can browse the web like the old days. it's pretty sweet that this stuff exists. So it's real awesome being able just to browse the web like back in the day. So of course it's a little slow, it's still a 486, but here's stuff.co.nz. Shout out to all my NZ viewers, I bet you guys remember this one. But I really actually wish websites were still made like this. It's so easy to find information and stuff, just being able to read it. It's really, I don't know, I just really like it. So yeah, we got some articles from August of 2000, so yeah, that works a treat as well. SMB file stream works a treat as well. Also, I would recommend disabling SMB1 on a modern machine if it's internet facing, just because it's full of security vulnerabilities. FTP works as well. So yeah, I'll link this client if you guys need an FTP client in the description. Very easy to find and use. Yeah, now we're going to check out some games, because that's what I really want to know. Is VLB, I've probably been saying something else this whole time, but yeah, let's see how the VLB performance is on such a system. And you know we've got to push this 486 machine to the absolute limit with some Duke Nukem 3D. Of course I'm choosing VESA mode 320 by 400 because why not? So let's see how she goes.
Let's rock. Blow it out your ass. Down. Come get some.
Well, that was actually quite a pleasant surprise. I'm actually really surprised that Duke Nukem 3D plays that well on such a machine. I don't remember it playing quite that well with the PCI setup for some reason. Because of the game, I didn't have it installed anymore, so it mustn't have been very playable. So yeah, anyway, it feels like it's getting around sort of 13, 15 maybe FPS, which is, you know, playable I guess for an old game like that, and probably drops into single digits here and there as things are blowing up, but yeah, really cool. I really enjoyed actually setting this machine up, giving the CPU and the case and the build itself just a heart sort of to tie it all together a bit better and make it more of a complete 486 setup, having that ISA/VLB motherboard in there. Just really like having that stuff sort of all complete. But yeah, that wraps this one up anyway. It's sort of just a quick video. Had a lot of fun putting it together, and I'll have to deal with that power supply. Who knows what's going on with that. I need to get myself some proper testing equipment to see what the deal is, but we'll carry on. And yeah, there's a poll running as well on my channel that I want you guys to check out and let me know what you guys feel like on that. So go and check that out and put your vote in there. Anyway, thanks for watching and catch everyone soon.